Welcome to week 4 of Unit 39, The Sound of Music Industry. This week's focus is on artist management. I've used a couple of images here from the MMF. The MMF are the UK Artist Management Representation Body. They're the largest in the world. You can check out their website where you can find information such as training events. They're also the authors of the brilliant book in the library, The Music Management Bible. In the top left-hand corner we have The Great Escape. The Great Escape is a Brighton festival which showcases new bands, and it has different industry talks and conventions. As an artist, finding the right manager is crucial. It's actually one of the most important decisions you'll ever make, and the only time the manager should be on the opposite end of the table from you. The rest of your career they should be right next to you trying to find you the best deal. If they're a blagger, or they seem to be a blagger, or not that knowledgeable, chances are the record company will be too. Let's watch a short video from an artist manager's viewpoint about what they do.
I think artist management is like the equivalent in the corporate world would be like being a general manager of a company, a GM. Our responsibility is basically to articulate the vision of the artist throughout all the different aspects of their career, whether it's touring or television or recording, merchandising, to make sure that their business runs every day and that it's accurate to their vision. A day-to-day job for an artist manager in the music business is to oversee each component of their business operation. So the analogy I use is a wagon wheel. The artist is the hub of the wagon wheel, and the manager's kind of the bearings and the grease around the artist. And then the spokes are each individual part of their career. So one spoke is touring, one spoke is merchandising, one spoke is publishing, one spoke is recording, one spoke is public relations, one spoke is the record label, one spoke is the booking agency, one spoke is the band, and there are a few others. And these spokes are all the parts that are important to a well-rounded career for a music artist. And if the spokes are all in sync and they're all the same length, then the wheel's round and the career rolls down the road and you have success. If the spokes aren't well maintained, let's say the booking falls apart or the radio promotion falls apart at the label or merchandising, then what happens is you're not maximizing the career. You get a flat spot on the wheel. And my job is to make sure that sucker's round and rolling 24/7.
So you have an opinion there about, use the analogy of spokes and keeping a career together so it's rolling. The thing is though, how do you know when you're ready for a manager? Is it too early in your career to get one? Most of the things that a manager does, you can do yourselves. Many bands fall into the mistake of thinking that they need a manager just to organise themselves because they're disorganised as an ensemble. The reality is though that until you're too busy recording, touring, making videos, doing promo, sorting out your social media, all of that stuff, you should really consider managing your own affairs. Once you've done that, there's certain qualities you should look for in a manager. You're going to need them to be honest. You're going to need them to have contacts that you don't have already. You're going to need them to have some kind of experience, tenacity, diplomacy, patience, etc. You also need them to be an absolute strategic planner and also to be a little bit ruthless. Your manager has to have your best interest at heart to get you the best deal, while also being an amazing communicator and somebody who knows how to get results. When you found the right one, it's probably time to sign your first contract. However, this is where things can get sticky. You should never ever sign anything until you've had it checked out by a music lawyer. Now, a music lawyer is different to a general lawyer. A music lawyer is aware of music contracts, record company contracts, music publishing contracts, music producer contracts, and so on. They're aware of the industry and they've looked after bands before. With that in mind, it's probably important that you understand there's no such thing as a standard contract. While there are standard terms that you will see in different music industry contracts, there's no standard contract as such. You also shouldn't be afraid to dispute clauses in agreement. Part of a contract negotiation period is about a win-win situation. And also, if the management is part of a management company, or even if it's their own one, make sure their name is specified in the agreement and not just the company name. The reason for this is if you fell out of favour or you were the least favoured artist of that management company, they could pass you on to whoever the new manager was that was working for the organisation, and not just one manager in particular who might be the best at representing your career. Here's some managers. The idea for the lesson was we were going to play a Name the Manager game. For the purpose of the slide, I'll just introduce you to each manager and their purpose, why they're on the screen. Brian Epstein, top left, was the artist manager of the Beatles. Brian Epstein was new to artist management. The Beatles were his first artist. Before that, he ran a record company. He used his Jewish background and business ethic to create a career for the Beatles, and quite famously charged them a 25% commission for the privilege. Below him we have Tony DeFries, who was responsible for David Bowie's rapid rise to stardom in the 70s. Midway through the 70s, David Bowie fired Tony DeFries as an artist manager. Tony DeFries was known as quite an early artist manager, quite ruthless. He also has quite recently, within the last 15 years, been fined over $30 million US for offshore tax evasion, and also a lawsuit brought by Capitol Records. Paul McGuinness in the middle is a long-standing manager of U2. Paul McGuinness, more recently, is famous for lambasting companies like Google. If you search for Paul McGuinness and the Midem Festival, that's M-I-D-E-M, you'll find out more about that. Top right-hand corner is Peter Grant. Peter Grant is a very notorious manager. He was artist manager of Led Zeppelin. Peter Grant was a former bouncer, so he's very tough, very ruthless, with a very simple philosophy, which was protect my artists, protect their money. He was quite an aggressive character, and there's rumours of him even going into bootleg stores in London and demanding immediate handover of all Led Zeppelin bootlegs. Below him we've got Simon Fuller. Simon Fuller's the odd one out on this page. Simon Fuller was manager of the Spice Girls, and he had a very different approach to artist management. He's more business-like, he's more assertive. He doesn't represent the cutthroat previous manager image, or even the very sort of soft business image that people like Brian Epstein had. Simon Fuller's also become notorious for also being famous for management in tennis circles now. Earlier I mentioned you might want in a contract to have the manager's name specified in your contract. The reason for that is the majority of managers that you may come across might be signed to a management company, especially the more higher up you get. Here's two examples here that you can research. To find a bit more about what an artist manager does, or just to take an overlook at the bigger picture, let's watch a video called A Day in the Life of an Artist Manager.
I was the founder of a company, SB Management, based in Shepherd's Bush, and we're a artist management company, and we've got several artists. Basically, you are the oil in a multi-part machine where you're kind of the midpoint between the artist and everything else. And the idea is that everything else comes into you before it goes to the artist, and everything from the artist comes to you before it goes to everyone else. And the idea is that if everyone does their job exceptionally well, then the manager's job should be reasonably straightforward. A lot of the time is spent double checking that people have, sent contracts, sent schedule, that the artist knows what time they're getting picked up, all that kind of thing. I started off in my bedroom doing this, so I've kind of done the everything from carrying the guitar up to negotiating the deals, and now I'm lucky enough that I've got 3 people who work in my office. So my job now entails not so much running around, not so much making sure that people know it's an 8 o'clock pickup or that the haircut's happening at this time. I've got people who do that, which is very lucky. Today I got up at about 8 o'clock, and the first thing I do is check my BlackBerry and check my phone and answer any emails that have come in overnight. My main job actually is probably dealing with the artists and their mental and creative welfare. I have a meeting at the label later on because there's a launch party tonight for Katie's album, so I'm just going to make sure that everything's kind of okay, that all the VIPs are going to be there as planned. And then this afternoon I'll be going to HMV in Oxford Street where Katie's doing a performance, and then on to the launch party tonight. Last week, Monday I went to Glasgow to a launch party. Tuesday I went to San Francisco for about 6 hours where Katie was playing at the launch of the new iPod, and then got on a plane back and then was in the office for 2 days doing meetings and budgets and all that kind of thing. So no 2 days were the same, basically, ever.
At this point, you might be wondering exactly what managers do, because it does seem to be a very sort of big overview of running an artist's career. So some things you can start searching are the type of things that you might find in a management contract, such as definition of activities, what the manager will actually be doing for their artist, exclusivity, if they're the only artist that manager is representing, etc., commission, the amount they're going to earn from the artist, term, the time, length of the contract, etc., etc. If you start Googling these terms, you become more familiar with the type of thing you'll see in different music industry contexts. There are some links further down in the presentation that will also help you with this. So, if you are in a good band, how do you get a manager to be interested in you? Well, the reality is that if your band, or if yourself as an artist, you're very well defined, you're commercially viable, image conscious, there's got loads of songs, you've got a strong social media profile, you gig a lot, so there's a lot of people that come to your shows, there's no reason why an established management company wouldn't want to sign you. There's also no reason why you shouldn't have been approached already. Until that point, you might want to manage yourself in your own career and learn a bit more about it to try and sort of trickle some income in the process. Because when an artist manager does come involved, they're going to want some commission. And here's an example. We're going to use an example of commission that comes in, an advance that comes in from a record label. And from this, if we take a £100,000 advance, it's going to a 4-piece band. The manager takes 20% of that as commission, so it leaves 80 grand to be split 4 ways between each member. So each member gets 20 grand each. So the question could be, could you live on that for how long? The good news is that there's income from other areas, such as publishing. You may even get some PDs while you're on the road, or tour support from the label. But the manager's job is to maximise your income, because they earn their money from your income. To complete our learning on this, we can take things a little bit further, such as taking a look at a book, Artist Management Out Loud. It's in chapter 2. That's in the library at college. So is Running Your Band as a Business. As is the Music Management Bible. There's a website, which is the Music Managers Forum. Also another web page on the Unside Guide about artist managers. And also on Moodle, you'll see a guide to music industry agreements. What you should be doing now is completing the artist management section for assignment 139.1. These are the 4 areas of the music industry. So you should have now completed your area on live performance, your area on record labels, your area on music publishing. Complete the artist management section, and that's all to be submitted on Friday the 11th of October. In our very first slide, when you started at college, we introduced you to the music universe. This is an image you might want to come back to now, because you might want to search some of the areas in order to help you complete your assignment.